You probably figured by now that this video is about mines. In our fervent dreams, we've been holding out for the classic laser wire trip mine. And in theory, although it's always been possible, it's been a long time coming for anyone to actually try and pull that off. Well, guess what? Today, here, we're going to show you new kids on the block, Supercell Development, bring us their ASC7 Claymore anti-personnel mine with tripwire unit. So the crux of this unit, the Claymore mine itself, how does it work? Well, for those of you who are familiar with the Gamma Claymore mine, this has a very similar mechanism. For those of you who don't, it's a glorified spring-powered catapult. This is how it works. The two metal bracket arms are spring-loaded. Between them, a high-tension piece of fabric is stretched between them. Start by ensuring the locking clasp is open. Now we push down the mechanical arms. Do take care, the springs are quite strong, so watch your fingers. Then we push the plate closed. With the plate taking the strain, we push it closed, and now push the locking clasp down at the top. Push the little locking arm up. Your mine is now armed. First, we need to safety it. In the locking arm at the top, there's a little hole. We take the safety pin, and we simply thread it through the hole. The pin holds down the locking clasp, and now the armed mine is safetied. On this mine, the front faceplate features a little hole, approximately BB sized. It quite simply allows you to load BBs with a speed loader or hand loader directly into the cradle of the catapult inside. At a capacity of about 100 pellets, you can quite easily empty a whole speed loader into one, and that should be enough to load it. Armed, loaded, and safetied, now it's ready for positioning. The Claymore has these convenient little mechanical legs. They flip out down the bottom. Using this outdoor, you could literally just stab these straight into soft ground. Or, in the instance where it's slightly less convenient, the little legs fold out their rear feet so that it can stand. This is the basic arrangement of the Claymore. With your mine now fully prepared, now you have to work out where you want to deploy it. Exactly how you're going to use this mine depends largely on how you plan to trigger it. The basic option, quite simply, is a long bit of wire attached to a black box with a big red button. On one end of the wire, we have the little coaxial plug. This plugs into a little socket at the top of the mine. When you're ready to go, of course, you have to pull out the pin. The wire itself is a bundle. It's a good 40 feet or 15 meters long, which gives you more than enough distance to GTFO. Now, at the right distance away, the little black box has a little red button on the top, and, well, it's fairly self-explanatory. Kaboom! Simply press and hold the little red button, then after a few seconds, it'll go off. Despite that short lag, this is the most direct and reliable method for triggering the mine. Of course, that said, you are limited by the range of the wire, which means having to stay within 40 feet of this device, and with a trail of breadcrumbs leading to your position, this leaves you somewhat vulnerable. Not only to return weapons fire, but occasionally to the mine itself. Ow! The default basic big red button is great, iconic, almost Looney Tunes in its classic demeanor. But of course, as promised, what we're all looking for is the laser tripwire. And we bring you to the light gate unit. So what is the light gate unit and exactly how does it work? Well, the big red button box itself has no battery. It is simply a coaxial plug that takes advantage of the battery already inside the mine to trigger it, making it very reliable. If the mine works and the switch is plugged in, then the big red button will work. The light gate, however, is a bit more complicated. It uses the same plug and plugs into the same place in the mine, but it opens up options a little bit to make things a little bit more interesting. You simply plug the light gate module into the mine and place the mine next to the module. The wire is not very long, but that's okay. It shouldn't be very far away from it anyway. The light gate is very simple. It is a light-based resistor with a little circuit board inside to make sure things are working the right way around. The unit does not come with a laser or torchlight unit, but you can use any kind of laser or light or take advantage of even natural ambient light if you know how to do it properly. Under its default wiring, the concept is you trigger the device by first forming a link with a laser unit. In this state, with the correct battery inside the module, if I turn it on, it's now prepared. I pull the safety and I walk away. If at any point it is triggered, it breaks the link with the light gate unit and the mine will go off. That's simple. Just to demonstrate the light gate unit when it's not plugged into the mine, we switch it on with the laser on the unit, and if you listen, you can hear the relay switch flick over when I block the laser. First, we work out where we want to deploy the line. We start by turning on and positioning the laser to form one end of the line. Ensuring you find a spot to secure your light gate, we put it down in the rough spot and then we attempt to adjust it into the right position. Like so. Now, with the original laser module in place and the light gate in place, the laser line is set up. Bearing in mind at this stage that we have not mentioned the turning on of this unit or anything else except for the laser. With the laser line set up, we take a quick moment to test. Still unplugged, we arm the unit. Switch it on. With the unit still on, now we plug this into the mine. Take care. Now the mine is almost ready to go. Take care that you don't accidentally flip the catch. Remove the safety pin. Make sure the arm is in place. Now, GTFO. The exact position, height, angle and length of your laser wire depends entirely on the strength of your laser unit and exactly where you decide to position them. Bear in mind though that the effective range of this mine is little more than 15 to 20 feet, so setting it too wide is pointless because if some guy's going to trigger while he's 100 feet away, well, you know, epic fail. Ambient light itself won't be enough to hold this mine, which is handy. You can position it outdoors, and so long as you don't have very direct, strong sunlight, any kind of laser or torchlight will be enough to conduct your beam. So, just as we said, instead of a laser, you can use a torchlight instead, but because it's far less coherent and weaker in intensity, you have to position the light much closer. And of course, it's a lot more obvious to the person who accidentally triggers it. We found with our own testing that the light gate works best with very intense light. So whether this is a white torchlight very close to it, or a red laser far away from it, these are best. As you start to get to the other end of the spectrum, for example, using green lasers, we found that the light gate doesn't even detect the green lasers. Which means if you want to use a laser, use a red laser because nothing else will work. So for whatever reason, whether your prey is particularly sneaky or is totally oblivious and is right in front of the mine, but due to unfortunate lucky positioning he hasn't actually tripped it yet, you have a backup, the wireless remote. The backup wireless remote has about double the range of that long cable and lacks the actual long cable. We've even tested it. It works a little bit round corners too, so you can actually be out of direct line of sight a little bit and still trigger when you're within close range. So there's a guy who happens to be within the cone of the mine detonation but hasn't actually tripped the laser yet. I happen to be nearby. I see my golden opportunity, so I use my remote. We do point out that you can actually disassemble these little units and swap a couple of wires around, reversing the switch. Which means that when it is dark with no light, it will not go off. But you shine a laser on it, which will set it off. So you can do slightly more clever things, like positioning a laser onto a cupboard that's closed and putting this inside. When the doors are opened, that actually completes the laser light, setting off the mine. Okay, so Supercell Development, Claymore Mine, big red button on the switch, catapult, red fabric, BBs with a hole in the front, wireless remote, light gate with a plug-in and a laser with a separate laser and the reversing, and yeah, that pretty much covers it all. So I'm Arclight. This has been an episode of Redwolf TV. For this awesome product and so much more, check out our website at www.redwolfairsoft.com.